It's your own damn fault that you were too busy playing Bob the Builder Fortnite Baby Royale to peel yourself out of your race car chair and use your leggy boys to walk down to the local money grinder in order to see what might end up as one of the biggest movies of all time. It's all your fault. Now, you have to see it in order to be able to fully grasp the power that you might have once you unlock Thanos in Fortnite's new limited time mode. Yeah, Fortnite, the small indie game with no money, finally had to bend the knee and kiss the ring of the deep state in order to be spared. Is this the crossover that finally gets it right, or just another gimmick to feed the beast of capitalism? The answer to both is yes.
Peggy 18.
Can a failing movie studio that produces superhero movies no one wants to see turn everything around by joining forces with a failing game to promote its latest flop? No. We're not talking about DC and Injustice. We're obviously talking about Marvel teaming up with Fortnite to add Thanos to their game for a limited time, making an already broken and unbalanced game even more unbalanced. This is the desperate move that was announced on Monday this week, which Marvel Studios, the failing Marvel Studios, hopes will finally get the basement-dwelling dweebs and weebs off their PS4s and into their movie theaters so that they're not spoiled when they take the reins of the universe's most powerful supervillain.
Okay, now bullshit aside, what the hell is this mode and how does it work?
Yeah.
That's the question you might be asking because, maybe you found yourself a little bit of Fortnite and superhero fatigue lately. And although their Battle Pass seasons are a cute and unique way to consistently reinvigorate their player base as well as their wallets, they obviously needed something a bit more exciting. A mutually beneficial collaboration between the two biggest entertainment franchises of the moment. In the early morning hours of this past Tuesday, Fortnite went live with patch V4.1, which, aside from some stability improvements, introduced the Infinity Gauntlet to the game.
No. At the beginning of each match, a meteor will land in the safe zone, the safe space of the map. That meteor is carrying the Infinity Gauntlet. Once you find it, you'll then transform into Thanos, and you'll play as the character until you either wipe out the rest of the players, or for some unknown reason, you die.
That means you're a real bad player.
In which case, the gauntlet will drop, again, allowing the player who killed you to steal it and become Thanos themselves. Just like in the movie. Or anyone.
Yeah.
The abilities that come with playing as Thanos are as follows. A ground smash knocks enemies back and destroys structures. An ability where you can launch into the sky and fly towards the ground where you will smash into it, causing damage and a knockback. A blast effect that deals damage over time. And a super jump that can vault Thanos over all but the largest obstructions.
In addition to that, not the Hulk, it's Thanos.
Smash.
Although
These sound like the Hulk's abilities.
I would like to see two things on the field. One, the Infinity Gauntlet, and then on the other side, the Hulkbuster suit.
Yeah.
Then everyone who doesn't have those, they're just victims.
Let's have a fair fight.
The rest is the final battle between Thanos and the Hulkbuster would be something really fun to see in Fortnite. But in addition to the Thanos' abilities, he also takes no fall damage, and he comes with full shields and full health. His shields regenerate upon every kill, but his health does not regenerate, making it fair, I guess. Thanos cannot build, he cannot use weapons, or use bonuses like launch pad.
He's too heavy, he breaks the trampoline.
Yeah, the trampoline. The mode itself has an average match length of around 15 minutes, with the Storm Circle doing more damage than normal. It's already closing in at the start of the match. Item drops are only rare, epic, and legendary. And a lot of the normal stuff like chests and ammo boxes, they have increased spawns. Resources like wood, steel, and brick, they're doubled. Basically, it's like Blitz mode, where one lucky person at any moment in time plays as Thanos, and you just sit there hoping he doesn't set his sights on you until you're fully stocked and ready to potentially take him on and steal that gauntlet.
But to be quite honest, it's pretty fucking cool to see an integration like this, considering most sponsorships or modes based on marketing tactics are usually ham-fisted instead of Infinity Gauntlet-fisted and stupid, with little to no consideration for the gameplay itself.
Yeah.
It also shows that being the biggest game in the universe has its perks, because companies like Marvel are willing to work with you in order to make something like this a positive experience for the fans of the movies and the game, and also open the door to further promotional modes and characters down the line. It was actually the Russo brothers love Fortnite.
Yeah, they tweeted about it.
They made the call. And when the Russo brothers pick up the phone, you best pick up the phone.
Oh, here comes the Russos.
There's two of them. But again, we're just looking at this as adults from a marketing standpoint, so we ask you, the humble gamer, Is this cool, or are you butthurt about the potential for major companies integrating their products and intellectual property into this game?
Would you be down for a Deadpool mode or a Batman mode? Or are you worried that this will be a slippery slope into marketing hell that could result in something like a pitchfork that looks like a can of Pepsi? Let us know in the comments below, and then please tell us your most ridiculous ideas for marketing gimmicks and how you would work them into the game.
How about a Mountain Dew parachute, and there's like a 1 in 10 chance that the parachute fails and you fall to your death?
Yeah.
Like that guy who died in a Mountain Dew commercial in the 90s.
What if you hand a player a Pepsi and they give you their guns? They drop on the ground.
Yeah, the game's
Yeah,
over.
it disarms your opponents with the Pepsi. These are free ideas.
Yeah, it's like a holy hand grenade,
Yeah.
except it does no damage. Another example would be, let's say, Jurassic World mode. That's a movie that's coming out soon. This would be where one team are Raptors and everyone else, they're normal players. Or
Raptors versus LeBron. One player's LeBron and just sinking every fucking shot, and you can't do anything about it. They have to change they legally have to change the name of the map to LeBronto.
Yeah, well, someone was saying last night in one of the games, they're like, uh-oh, the Raptors better watch out because here comes the LeBrontosaurus.
Whoa.
Commentating is fun. There's also, maybe there's Super Bowl mode. You know, the big game. That would be where two teams with football uniform skins have to carry one of those footballs to the other side of the map without getting killed, like in the last Boy Scout.
Like capture the flag?
Shh. Elliot, stop. This is a new mode that I came up with and I will get all the money for.
Okay.
Anyways, you could make money too, potentially. Not really, they'll just steal it. But let us know your ridiculous ideas in the comments for ways that you would integrate bullshit marketing schemes into this game.
Yeah. Speaking of humble gamers, I was delighted to see that the June 2018 Humble Bundle for $10 will get you Destiny 2, a game that came out less than a year ago. I was like,
Gee.
woo, boy.
Speaking of Destiny 2,
New expansion, right? Nobody
Today.
cares.
Anyway, yeah, let's move away from Fortnite. The plans for Nintendo's online services for the Switch have finally been released ahead of E3, and it looks as though it signals the death of any plans for a potential virtual console where you could play an entire backlog of games from the previous consoles like the NES, SNES, and N64. The new service that launches, they swear, this September, is literally called Nintendo Switch Online, and it'll cost its users $3.99 a month unless you pay for up to a year in advance. The price for a full year isn't too bad at $20, but whether you pay month to month or throw down $20 for the full year isn't gonna be worth it to their users who have been taking advantage of online capabilities for over a year at no cost. Hey, we got this new feature where you pay for the thing you were already doing.
It's fun. Honestly, it depends on how you play your Switch. Have you been playing any of their games online with friends or randoms on multiplayer? Because once this is released, you won't be able to do that unless you pay their prices. Obviously, Sony and Microsoft already do this with their consoles, so it's not that far-fetched to assume that Switch players would be okay with paying a premium to continue playing online. The other features that you'll get with this price are a bundle of NES titles with potentially more coming. But these are games like Donkey Kong, Super Mario Bros. 3, Dr. Mario, Legend of Zelda, and more. Now, the big key here is that some, if not all, of these old NES titles will have some sort of online capability. Obviously, making this the first time that you'll ever get to play these titles with a friend that isn't sitting right next to you 20 years ago. Now, the other big standout here is that it'll enable the ability for you to have cloud saves, which is something that the community's been begging for since the console was released last year, and that would allow you to download your saves on other devices so that you can pick up where you left off on a friend's console, or I guess for a couple other reasons, like maybe you broke your console and you gotta pick up a new one. At least your saves aren't gone. You'll also get an app for your smartphone, but that'll probably be garbage and will apparently be the only way you'll still be able to communicate over voice chat, which is just terrible because that should have been built into the console itself. People are just going to keep using Discord instead of whatever Nintendo puts out because Discord's reliable as hell and it has other features. So, I don't know, is Switch Online worth it? Now for me, probably not. I don't think I've ever used the online features on the Switch outside of maybe trying 1 or 2 races in Mario Kart. And as you're probably all aware, I use mine for travel and would be relying on plane or train Wi-Fi, which is not only an added cost for each connected device, it's also totally unreliable. It seems like a feature that is aimed at the users who play entirely in docked mode and enjoy games like Splatoon, they might like this. Are you that person? Or is it worth it for the NES game library that you might grow bored of in a few days or weeks? Try it once.
I smashed my Switch with a hammer. Is Switch Online good for me?
No.
Yes. It'll bring it back to life.
Did you have any saves on that one?
That Switch is now in the cloud. Anyways, let us know if this is worthwhile or just a complete waste of money.
Yeah, but now back to a recurring theme on this show, which seems to never let up. Gamers getting owned by companies for fucking around with their games. Hacking, cheating, trolling, and other nefarious activities used to run rampant as games evolved and became connected with online services. But it's looking like 2018 might be the year where the consequences finally outweigh the thrill that some dickheads get by ruining games for everyone else. We're talking about Bully 100. No. On the last few episodes, we've talked about arrests, lawsuits, bans, and more. This week is no different, but it is a finale to some drama that went down all the way back in 2010 when World of Warcraft was arguably the king of multiplayer gaming.
8 years ago, a man named Colin Mateus from Romania, he launched a DDoS attack on the World of Warcraft servers, which apparently brought down those servers for thousands of players, and it reportedly cost Blizzard $30,000 in damages.
Which they immediately recouped
Probably,
within
yeah.
seconds of turning things back up.
Now, he did this after having what is described literally as a heated gaming moment against another player. In response to this, Matthias was extradited to the United States and put behind bars while awaiting a trial for the attack.
Oh.
According to NBC Los Angeles, who did all the reporting on this case, court documents showed that Matthias paid $30,000 in restitution to Blizzard Entertainment last month and also pleaded guilty in downtown Los Angeles in February to a single felony count of causing intentional damage to a protected computer.
Guys, I'm going to America.
I finally made it! Despite pleas from his defense attorney to allow him to just be sent home to Romania with time served, he was sentenced to a year in federal prison. Dun dun. Where's that hammer at? There it is. Do the case closed thing. There you go.
These are their stories.
And this is a story, again, about how you shouldn't be a fucking dick
In the world of gaming, there are players who play the objective and others
who troll. This is one of their
These are their stories. But hey, now that we're done with all that serious stuff, it's finally time for Shivy to get out of his mind prison where he's been battling with his thoughts about God of War for weeks now, and finally give his goddamn review of that fucking game. Not a moment too soon. Here's the review you've all been eagerly waiting for, choosing to delay whether or not you purchase the game until you
came out 3 weeks ago.
You hear from the horse's mouth, from the giraffe's mouth itself.
Yeah.
Tugs gods, Tugs boys, and Tugs boy. I mean boy. This week I finally swallowed for the first time. Swallowed my pride, that is, because what I'm about to say will further banish me from numerous secret organizations I'm a part of. Namely 2, probably 3.
The deep state.
First, namely, the PC Master Race for even touching such a video game title on such a lowly platform. Next, the Ethical Squadron of Journalist Warlords, long for ESJW. Finally, I will surely be removed as top chair of the Ass Eaters Anonymous. While not a group focused on gaming, it brings shame upon them.
You're not anonymous at all.
Bam.
Everybody knows you like eating ass.
I don't know what to say for myself. Now that my banishments have been spelled out and hopefully spoken correctly, as most of what I say is nonsensical, this week I'm reviewing a rare treat. Praised to be the best game ever made of all time. A game that wields the power of the Infinity Gauntlet. Over every other game site review, except for Tugs, in which, in this game, you're a goddamn god.
Please write the closed captioning for this episode, someone out there that has the time.
Yeah. This week I'm reviewing God of War, the new one. It's a bit confusing because it was initially released in 2005. Kratos returns in the 8th installment of the series, a series so loosely based on Greek and Norse mythology that Ricky could shove his switch up where the sun don't shine.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, viewer, it's that loose. Kratos goes on a journey to spread his second wife's ashes across the lands. Lame. Look, I certainly would not be bringing my son with me, as Kratos does, if my intent was to participate in such illegal activities such as theft, trespassing, murder, and worst of all, littering.
Well, you're having a little girl, that's why.
Shameful for a god who used to crush puss. Clearly, he is what he eats because he's no longer his former self. I remember Kratos when he was brutal, not needing to wield an overpowered axe throw, Harry Potter boomerang type shit. This man is a god, yet can't swim? What is this, Grand Theft Auto 3? Ugh. Other than Kratos being a shell of his former self, the game mechanically is like Dark Souls but less enjoyable. The God of War single take blow load on myself camera is overhyped. With the camera nut-hugging Kratos so tightly, enemies are constantly hitting you from behind, and the combat does not feel fluid. Oh, and the controls, when they're taken away from me and I walk slowly across a bridge, a plot of land. Yeah, viewer, that's a loading screen.
What's a bridge?
Don't worry about it. Let's just say after watching Infinity War, Kratos is a wet noodle like Groot, and certainly not a godly man like Thor, brother of Baldur. It saddens me that this feels more like a movie, while the prior God of Wars make me feel like a badass game, and I was not a shell of my former self. This game is more like man and goody two-shoes kid who knows too much to go on an average adventure. If I wanted to play a real game with real feels, I'll play The Last of Us. God of War 2018 is the most overrated game I've ever played ever. For the best video game ever made, which every other ethical review site is giving this title, we certainly were not paid that amount of money, and this whole review system should be criminal. Don't mind me as I go play a real game like Wolf Tales on Steam for some lewd content Wolf Girl yearly action. 0 out of 10.
That's the least amount of sense you've ever made. Wow, Shibby's reviews really do suck ass.
They eat ass.
It's a variation of it. Anyways, don't listen to him, kids. Listen to Amazon instead. And this week, we're going to take a look at the reviews for Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, because even though it just came out for the Switch, we told you last week that it's been available for the Wii U for years. So let's find an unbiased review that might stop you from picking it up. This review comes from Amazon user Stephanie, who titled their review, "Sucks Bad." Here's what they had to say about Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
A girl gamer? This game has to be the worst game I've ever played in my life. First of all, why is a gorilla called Donkey? Nice fail, Nintendo. Secondly, the gameplay seems like something for a little kid. Gosh, I need to stop wasting money on stupid games like this. 1 star.
Actually, it is made for little kids. The more you know.
Yeah.
Why is he called Donkey if he's a gorilla, Elliot?
The reason for this is actually, it was a poor translation. I think they were looking for like a word to describe an animal who's like ornery, doesn't follow directions and shit. Just like an angry animal who fucks with people. And they came up with donkey.
Yeah.
It made more sense at the time.
Well, Stephanie's not having any of that. Stephanie is not lost in translation.
Nintendo.
That's the last time I buy a game made for children. It probably wasn't though.
No.
She's probably still buying.
She's probably got some kids of her own now.
Yeah. Here, you guys play this shit. Anyways, follow our Twitch community, the ETC show, Friends of the Show community on Twitch, so we can watch your streams, you can watch ours. Links in the description below. Follow us on Twitch as well, on twitch.tv/itsRickyFTW.
Twitch.tv/ElliottETC.
Did you beat not God of War, Witcher yet?
Are you kidding? No. No, I don't even think I'm halfway done. The game is fucking huge. It's the best $20 I've ever spent.
Yeah. Well, hey, speaking of almost being done with things, I think we might beat Borderlands 2 on this next playthrough.
Oh, boy.
If you haven't been watching our Borderlands playthrough, it's time to start because it's over. So it's on this channel. Just keep an eye out for live streams, and we might beat it this week. It might be the time to beat it. But until then, be sure to watch Monday morning's live stream where Elliot and Shibby and Phil, they all discuss whether or not you should even give a care about Fortnite with Thanos. And check out last week's episode of T.U.G.S as well. Bye.
Bye-bye.